All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we are diving deep into the drama-filled world of Reddit relationships with a story that's spicier than a ghost pepper.
It's fascinating to me how food can be such a catalyst for conflict.
Right. Like you think you're just sitting down for a nice meal and boom, suddenly you're in the middle of some huge relationship showdown. And that's exactly what we're dealing with in today's deep dive, straight from the Am I the A-hole forum on Reddit.
Reddit always a reliable source of relationship train wrecks.
Seriously, though. So in this story, we have a girlfriend who makes her boyfriend this amazing Mapo Tofu dish.
Mapo Tofu, you say that's a bold move right out of the gate.
Right, like tofu can be a bit of a controversial ingredient, but she's going for it.
Yeah.
And here's the kicker. The boyfriend claims he's never even tried tofu before.
Oh boy, this is already setting off some alarm bells for me. The classic I'm a picky eater situation.
Yeah.
Always a recipe for potential disaster.
And as if things couldn't get any worse, as she's cooking, he casually mentions how Taco Bell is sounding pretty good right now.
Oh, no, he didn't. That's like the ultimate culinary insult, right? Like, imagine you're slaving away in the kitchen trying to create a masterpiece, and your partner's over there daydreaming about fast food.
Yeah, I mean, talk about a mood killer.
Yeah.
But wait, it gets even better because after all that, he actually tries a bite of the Mapo Tofu, and you know what he says?
Don't tell me he hates it and throws a tantrum.
He doesn't hate it. He actually says it's good, but then he drops this bomb. I just don't like the texture of tofu.
Classic picky eater move right there. Compliment the dish, but then find some hyper-specific reason to reject it.
Exactly, and you would think that's where the story ends, right? Nope, because then he goes on to say he feels guilty for not liking it.
The guilt trip. Oh boy, here we go, strapping in for this emotional roller coaster.
And the Reddit comment section absolutely exploded. I mean,
Yeah.
people were calling him a man-child,
Yeah.
comparing him to a toddler who didn't get his chicken nuggets. It was brutal, but also kind of hilarious.
Oh, I can only imagine Reddit never disappoints when it comes to savage commentary. But let's be real for a second. Underneath all the humor, there are some serious questions here about communication styles, expectations, and emotional maturity in relationships.
Totally. Like, what does it say about his communication skills that he blurts out his Taco Bell cravings while his girlfriend is putting so much effort into cooking him a nice meal?
It makes you wonder about his level of self-awareness, right? Is he completely oblivious to the effort she's putting in, or is he just really bad at reading the room?
Right. And then the whole guilt trip thing. It's like he's weaponizing his disappointment to make her feel bad.
Absolutely. It's a classic manipulation tactic. And it puts her in this awkward position where she has to comfort him for not liking her cooking.
So now she's not only disappointed that he's not enjoying the meal, but she's also expected to soothe his ego. It's a lot to unpack, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Okay, so the boyfriend is laying on the guilt trip pretty thick, even after admitting he actually likes the Mapo Tofu. Just not the texture of the tofu. It's like he's trying to win some kind of award for being the most dramatic eater ever.
Well, in fairness to the boyfriend, tofu texture is a legitimate thing. For some people, it can be a bit hit or miss.
True, but it's the way he goes about it,
Yeah.
you know? Like, come on, dude, you're making your girlfriend feel bad for trying to cook you a nice meal, and the Reddit commenters, they were picking up on this big time.
Oh, I bet the comment section was a goldmine. What were people saying?
Oh, man. It was everything from he's not sad about the tofu, he's sad about not getting Taco Bell, to this guy's a walking red flag. People did not hold back.
It's like the internet has become this giant support group where we can all collectively validate each other's frustrations and laugh at the absurdity of these situations.
And I think that's part of why we love these Reddit deep dives so much. It's like we're all gathered around a virtual campfire, sharing stories and offering our unsolicited advice.
Absolutely. It's a shared experience that connects us, even if it's through our shared annoyance at this guy's behavior.
Right. And you know what's even funnier? The girlfriend, she tries to smooth things over by offering to pack up the leftovers for her sister, thinking that's a perfectly reasonable solution.
Makes sense, right? Like, someone will enjoy it, no harm, no foul, but of course the boyfriend, he just can't let it go.
Nope. He doubles down, says something like, I'll just eat it. You're making me feel guilty. It's like he's holding the Mapo Tofu hostage with his emotional baggage.
Oh man, it's like he's performing this whole melodrama for an audience that doesn't even exist. I mean, come on, dude, just say you don't want to eat it and move on.
Right. But then it gets me thinking maybe it's not really about the tofu at all. You know, maybe it's about something deeper like control or the need to be the center of attention.
You know what? You might be onto something there. Food can often be a proxy for other emotional needs, and in this case, maybe the boyfriend is using the tofu as a way to exert some kind of power or control over the situation.
And that's where things start to get really interesting, because now we're not just talking about a picky eater. We're talking about potential red flags in a relationship.
Exactly. This seemingly trivial food disagreement has opened up a whole can of worms
Yeah.
about communication styles, emotional intelligence, and even potential power imbalances in the relationship.
So for our listeners out there who might be thinking, oh, this is just a silly story about tofu, think again, because this situation is actually a microcosm of so many relationship dynamics that we all experience.
It's a reminder to pay attention to those seemingly small moments because they can often reveal a lot about the bigger picture. And who knows, maybe this deep dive will even inspire some of you to have a conversation with your partner about food preferences before the next mealtime meltdown.
It's like this whole tofu situation has become this massive case study in relationship dynamics.
Right. It's amazing how something as simple as food can spark such a huge conversation about communication and expectations.
And let's not forget the entertainment factor. I mean, the comments on that Reddit post were pure gold.
Oh, yeah, the internet did not disappoint with the witty remarks and savage takedowns.
I think my favorite was the one that said, he's not sad about the tofu, he's sad about not getting to live mass. I mean, come on, that's hilarious.
It is pretty funny, and it also highlights this idea that sometimes these food disagreements aren't really about the food at all, you know?
Right, like maybe it's about something deeper, a need for control or attention, or maybe he just really, really wanted Taco Bell.
Maybe he's just a huge Taco Bell fan, who knows? But it definitely brings up this important point about how we communicate our needs and preferences in relationships.
Totally, like if he had just said, hey, I'm not really a fan of tofu, would you mind if we ordered something else? The whole situation could have been avoided.
Exactly. Being honest and upfront about our feelings can save us a lot of trouble and heartache in the long run.
And on the flip side, it's also important to be respectful of our partner's preferences, even if we don't necessarily share them.
Right. Like, just because someone doesn't like tofu doesn't mean they're a bad person or that they don't appreciate the effort you put into cooking.
Exactly. It's all about finding that balance between expressing ourselves and being considerate of our partner's feelings.
And sometimes it's about recognizing that maybe Taco Bell is the answer, and that's okay too.
As long as you're not dropping hints about it while your partner is busy making you a home-cooked meal.
Exactly. Timing is everything, folks. So to sum it all up, I think this Mapo Tofu meltdown has taught us a few valuable lessons.
Absolutely. Number one, communication is key.
Hmm.
Be honest and upfront about your feelings and be willing to listen to your partner's perspective.
Number 2, don't weaponize your disappointment using guilt trips or manipulation tactics to get what you want will only lead to more conflict.
And number 3, remember that everyone has different tastes and preferences. And that's okay. Food should be something that brings us together, not tears us apart.
Well said. And with that, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive into the wild world of Reddit relationships.
Until next time, stay spicy, my friends, but maybe lay off the tofu, unless you're prepared for the potential drama.